Hey everyone, this is Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Today I want to show you how to change out the belts on a 2000 Toyota 4Runner. Now I'm going to do all three, the air conditioner, the power steering, and the alternator. And when you do the three, when you first start, you want to disconnect the battery just for safety's sake. And you're going to need a 12, a 13, and a 14 millimeter sockets, some wrenches, and possibly a swivel. Now the first step that you want to do is take off the power steering belt, and you want to loosen this bolt. You're going to loosen these bolts, you're not going to take them off. So if you're removing some bolts, you know, you've gone too far. But you should be able to take off all the belts without removing any of the bolts. Okay, so you want to loosen the top bolt of the power steering right here, as you can see. Now the second bolt you want to loosen is on the hold down, or the frame that goes to the engine here. You want to loosen that up, and then once that's loose, there's one more, that's the adjusting screw, and I'll see if you can see it here. It's going to be upside down, but you can see that bolt right there, upside down, I guess. That would be the one that you loosen to adjust it, and then you can move your whole power steering, you know, back and forth, and then you'll be able to get that power steering belt out. And once you get that power steering belt out, you just want to go around your fan blade, and that's another reason you want to disconnect your negative battery cable from your battery, just so that it doesn't turn on for any weird reason. Okay, so once you get it around the belt, you can work on your air conditioning belt, and you want to do that from underneath. To get your air conditioning belt off, you want to loosen up this pulley bolt. Pulley bolt right here, just loosen that up. And then there's an adjusting screw, and you may need a swivel on this one, but you can see it right there. That's the bolt you want to loosen. And then once that's loose, you'll be able to move this up and down to get your air conditioning bolt off. Okay, and then once that's done, you can move on to your alternator. And then for your alternator, you can see it a little bit better from below. You want to go ahead and loosen the bottom mount bolt here, and then the adjusting bolt here, or the nut, I should say. Loosen up that nut there, and then loosen up the bolt, and then you can see it just barely from down below, but up there you want to loosen the top bolt, the mounting bolt for the alternator, and then you'll be able to move your alternator in and out to get your alternator belt off. Once you get your old belts off, you'll want to match them up to your new belts. Now you want to match up your belts to the new belts that you got, and you may need to stretch them out a little bit to make them work. And as you can see, there are part numbers for each of the belts, and they may be different for your company that you go with. Now the problem I was having with my belts is that they were glazed over and they were squealing a little bit in the morning when you turn on the vehicle. And I tried adjusting them, and it's been probably 3 to 4 years since I replaced them. Okay, I would go ahead and recommend cleaning your pulleys with brake clean or some kind of brake cleaner. That way it won't leave any kind of residue on your pulleys. Make sure this is in a well ventilated area. You may need a toothbrush or a scrub brush if you got a lot of dirt in them. Now I did end up having to take the pulley off, as you can see here, because that was the tightest belt. The one that goes around the air conditioner. So just make sure you get that pulley back together the right way. The little ridge will go inward towards the pulley. And you have the cap and then the nut on the end. Okay, you may ask, how do you know if it's a pulley noise or a belt noise? And what I used was just a old stethoscope, took the end of it off, and I listened for the pulleys as I rotated them, just to hear if there was any grinding or binding, you know, any kind of bearing noise. So you'll want to do that. Also, you know, once all the belts are off, and you know, you can tell whether it's a bearing or it's the belt. So before I even bought belts, I went ahead and took all the belts off, spun all the pulleys except the crankshaft, you know, center pulley, and just listened with the stethoscope, and that way I was able to determine, you know, if I heard any bearing noise or not. And then when you're tensioning the belts, you'll have specs of either 1/2 inch per foot or 1/4 inch per foot or 1/8 of an inch per foot of you know, in between each of the pulleys. But what you want to do is tighten them enough to where you know, so that's a little bit too much, so tighten it up a little bit more. And of course, the shorter distances, you're not going to have as much play. So with this long distance, you know, you're going to have more play in it. And then these being new belts, you know, they're going to loosen up over time, so you may need to readjust it down the road. And then when you're doing this too, just make sure you tighten up your bolts, the top and the bottom, the top and the bottom, and then tighten up your pulley bolt. And then the deflection on this one, there's not much at all, as you could tell there. There's only, what, like 5-6 inches between the two. And then once you turn it on, once you start your engine, if you hear squealing or smell a burning smell, it could be too tight. Or if you hear some squealing, they could be too loose. So you may just need to fine tune it depending on what you hear once you start your engine. Well, this has been Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your next home or automotive project.